Shalom, family. I want to bring you this video talking about the food shortage is coming. We talked about this before, and me and my wife, we talked about this so many times about it's inevitable. It's going to happen. There's going to be food shortage, and we're seeing a lot of signs of it. And this one video I want to play for you guys, and it's just evident. There's a lot of articles about it. You can research some of this stuff yourself. But I urge everyone to really prepare yourself. Get prepared, because it's no telling how things can get over the next few months, over the next year or two. So we need to do all that we can to plant food. And I know a lot of people say, well, I ain't got nowhere to plant. Get with someone that does have some land. Get with someone that has a backyard. You know, one person said they were actually growing things in containers. They live in an apartment, and they growing food in a container. So we could think about all of these things, you know, and even stocking up, you know. So I want to first of all just make sure everything is playing okay. Is everything playing okay? Is the audio and the video looking okay? How's it looking on your end? Them actually asking farmers to really just get rid of their crops. And so this is something that's major. Of course, it's going to cause a food shortage. Matter of fact, there's an article here that I found, and I want to show you this article. I'll just read the title to you. But it says acute food shortages are disproportionately pushing more Black and Latino families to the brink of starvation. This is a reality here, y'all. You know, this is a reality. This is now, in this day and time, you know, people in our communities are actually starving and don't have food. You see, and so this is why we can't be a dependent people. You get what I'm saying? We can't be dependent. We can't be dependent on something. Feed me, please feed me. I need some food. I need some food. We can't be that way, because when you deal with wickedness don't want you fed. You understand me? And you putting yourself in the hands of a wicked situation and you expecting them to feed you. They don't want to feed you. They want a depopulation. You get what I'm saying? They want to depopulate the planet. So why would you put yourself in that situation and just humbly go before them and say, feed me? They'll be like, oh, you hungry? Oh, good. Matter of fact, we're going to make sure you don't get any more food. That's pretty much how the system works, right? Now, you got to understand this, right? We've been talking about this for years, about food shortage. I remember when I talked to someone years ago about how I wanted to get a farm and raise my own animals and chickens and things like this. They said, what for? Well, you could just go to the store and get it. I say, okay, well, what happens when the store, then you go there and they don't have any food? And they were like, that'll never happen. Man, this has happened time and time again in history. Do your research. It's been happening in history. And so we got to get to the point where we stop with all these excuses and we start saying, okay, what can I do to try to get some food going? If you live in an apartment, you can grow food in containers. You know, I heard one person say they was growing food on the roof of their apartment. Wow. You know, some people had a balcony. They're growing food on their balcony. Some people had things inside their apartment. You know, or if you got a home and you got a backyard, you can grow food in that backyard. If you have a friend that has a home that has a backyard, make a deal with them. Say, hey, listen here. I'll come by and I'll till up the backyard and put some food back there, and I'll do all the planting and everything. We can share the food. I'm quite sure somebody will go for that, right? These are the type of things we need to be thinking about. And some of us got backyards, and we just so used to going to the grocery store, we don't have any intent on going out there tilling that ground until something happens. Why is it we have to wait until there's a food shortage to realize, oh man, I need to get some seeds in the ground? That don't make no sense. We're waiting until I'm going to just wait. That's exactly what the people said in Noah's time. They said, I'm going to wait and see if the rain will come down. You know, I'm going to wait. So Noah closed the door and the rain started coming down, and all of a sudden people banging on the door want to come in Noah's Ark. It's too late for that, right? We got to get more serious about this thing. We should be growing our own foods. I feel funny. Let me tell you something. When we have a bell pepper, and I started feeling like this a few years ago when we started thinking about the food shortage that was coming. We would have a bell pepper and cut it open. Years ago, we used to just throw it away. But a few years ago, when we started thinking about this thing, I saw them seeds. We would cut it open and see the seeds. And I said, man, them seeds. And you look at each seed, it's probably about 5 or 6 bell peppers. So when you got some 50 seeds, and versus 5 or 6 bell peppers, you're talking about hundreds of bell peppers that you're throwing away when you throw these seeds away. Same with a watermelon. When you go to the store, you get a watermelon or a cantaloupe. Now, of course, I know that some of these foods that they produce are GMO foods, right? Okay, well then get yourself some organic seeds. Plant it, grow one, and get the seeds from it so you have more to grow, right? All we're saying is we got to make a conscious effort to not be so dependent on our government for food, dependent on someone else for food. Because when things get rough and things get tight, there are people that's going to be guarding their food with guns. You understand me? They're going to be guarding their crops with guns. And so you don't need to come to that, right? I found it amazing when I used to drive through the city of Detroit, all the vacant lots you would see everywhere. Just vacant lots. Nothing there. Just ground and dirt. I'm like, man, let me tell you something. In some lower areas of the country, they don't have as good. I'm telling you, there's some good dirt up in Detroit. Their dirt isn't as good. They have thick clay dirt that you have to try to plant in. When you people up north in Detroit area, you got dirt on your property. There's easy dirt to plant in. When I grew up in Detroit, we always had a garden. Me and my mother and my brothers, we would always go out there and hook that garden up for my mother because she was like, I want a garden. So we would go out there and we kept the garden going for her. And we had everything growing out there in that garden. You wouldn't believe it. But we were growing so much food in that little space that we had in the backyard until it was incredible, And many of our neighbors had gardens in those days. My neighbor next door to me had a garden. The neighbor a few doors down from him had a garden. It was a common thing to try to grow your own beans and squashes and cucumbers and things like that. People were doing it back then, tomatoes. But nowadays, matter of fact, there was a lady down the street from me named Miss Reed. But I tell you, Miss Reed, she had everything. Even, how most people have flowers in their front yard as landscaping. She had greens. I used to trip out. She had greens. And you get up early in the morning in Detroit. 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what you're going to hear? A loud rooster. That's right. Miss Reed had chickens. Chickens in a Detroit city on a small Detroit house lot. Right? Small home. And she had chickens even in her backyard. She had pears back there. And we used to go back there and get pears. She would let us come back there and get a bag of pears. And we would make pear preserves out of those pears, And so all I'm saying is, man, she had a lot going on that small property, right? And so all I'm saying to you is that we got to be to that point where we're saying, hey, I'm not going to depend on this government for anything. I'm going to try to do everything that I need to do to try to make this thing work. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try my best. Instead of just sitting back keeping a handout. You want a handout. Try to do something. Our people, I'm telling you, we as a people, sometimes we can be quite pitiful. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by it, right? I never forget when me and my wife had talked to a brother that we were trying to help him. He was in a situation where he didn't have nowhere to stay. And so this one place gave him a little where he could stay in their place for a little while. And so I was like, that's cool. I said, well, let's try to help this brother out. So we went and brought him a bunch of food and, gave him bags of food and everything to help him out and stuff. And then what ended up happening was, I said, well, I had some work that needed to be done around the property. I said, well, maybe if I can get this brother to do some work, So I got the brother to come, and he came, and he was helping me and my wife do this work for us. We were paying him good for it, And so, to make a long story short, I got into this conversation with him. And I said, man, about the food shortage and different things that could happen, And I said, we were actually thinking about maybe buying a couple of these city lots that ain't nothing growing on it, It's just grass growing on. I'm thinking about buying a couple of these lots, tilling the ground on it, and maybe planting some food on it, having like a community garden. And you know what this brother said to us? He said, well, that's good. I tell you what, you and your family, y'all go there and y'all plant everything and get everything going and everything. And when harvest time come, I'll come and just start picking the food.
He said, I'll help y'all.
I'll help y'all harvest everything. And I felt like, man, so you ain't going to give us no help in tilling the ground, planting or doing anything. When it's time to harvest, time to eat, you going to show up. Man, do you hear this? This is what I'm talking about. And when he said that to me, I said, do you hear yourself? I actually said it to him. I said, do you hear yourself speak? So you want me and my family to go out and do all the work, right? And then you just show up just to pick the food and eat. Yeah, harvest time. That thing had me so. I said, man, that make me don't even want to do nothing with you then if that's your attitude, He said, well, yeah, it's just planting ain't my thing, gardening ain't my thing. But eating is your thing though, right? Harvesting and eating, huh? Man, oh man, oh man. And you homeless? I feel like, man, you should be that much more saying, I need to do what all I can do to make it. But no, we get lazy. We get lazy because we like the idea of somebody taking care of us. We like the idea of putting my foot up. He over there planting, he over there planting this harvest, getting this garden going, doing all this. And nah, I'm not going to fool with man. I'm going to wait till he get his done. And then when he get his done, I'm going to come over there and see if I can get some stuff from him. That is a lazy mindset. That is a very lazy mindset. And I'm telling you right now, that's the kind of people you don't want around you. Someone who don't want to help you at all get things going, but the minute it's going, they want to show up to reap the benefits of it. That is a hard thing, and that's exactly why it's hard to get together with people. Because you'll bring people into your little situation, and you'll say, yeah, this person we're going to try to get things going, and they'll sit back and they'll look at you like, man, I feel like you got me slaving it. Wait a minute, you going to be eating this food too? Right? But that's how the attitude people take. They take the attitude like, well, no, I don't need to be out there slaving like this, for you. And you plan food, and you giving them half the food. That ain't good enough. I'm telling you right now, it's a thing where, boy, people are going to catch it hard. When this food shortage hit, some people are going to catch it so doggone hard until it's going to be ridiculous because they don't want to do nothing. They want somebody to feed. And guess what? That's why the FEMA camps are going to fill up. Oh, yeah. They going to fill up so fast because these people are all ready for that. Matter of fact, let me show you something, right? I guarantee you, they can open the FEMA camp doors right now, not even in a food shortage. And all they got to do is say, hey, you come into this into this FEMA camp, we'll take away your privileges, but guess what? You'll have a place to stay, and you'll have food to eat. Right? Place to stay and food to eat. You can put up your feet, don't have to worry about no work. Boy, they'll probably fill them things in a day. They'll probably fill them camps up in a day. Are you hearing me? Because nobody wants to do anything. They don't want to do anything. Just put my feet up and just play my video games, get on the internet, surf the net, watch some cable TV, and just give me my cable TV. I sit back and just eat and lay down all day long. This is a doggone shame that this is what we have become as a people. You can't find hard workers hardly anywhere. It's hard to find them. Don't nobody want to do no work for nothing. Don't nobody want to plant nothing, but they want to eat everything that grows up out of that ground, but they don't want to plant a thing. Man, too lazy to even pick it. I remember, what was that we saw that time when somebody said they had some green beans and they told them, you have to go over there and pick them. They said, that's all right. Yeah. You remember that?
They had to pick up the green beans themselves, and they didn't want to do it.
That's right. You hear this?
What, you want me to break them and clean them and all that?
These people were giving away free green beans. They told me, yeah, you have to go pick them yourself and everything. And people were like, no, that's okay. I'm like, are you serious? You mean telling you can have them for free, but you don't want to go and pick them? You want somebody else to pick them, just had a basket all ready for you. Basket just sitting there, you just show up, oh, thank you. And you walk off and you cook them, huh? Man, this is just...
No, they ain't gonna walk off and cook them. They gonna ask you if you can cook them.
Yeah, you hear that? My wife said they're going to ask you if you can cook them too. This is ridiculous. I'm telling you, it is really ridiculous that we are a dependent people. Dependent. Just totally dependent. You know, we like babies in a diaper and with a pacifier. You'll feed me, help me. Don't want to get up, can't move. I mean, man, this is just, I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at it, and I deal with people all the time. I get comments and things. I've dealt with people on this issue, and I'm telling you right now, me and my wife have seen enough of it. We have seen enough of it where people just aren't aggressive enough to want to help their own selves. They want to get it all handed to them. They want it all just handed to them, you know?
It's definitely time to squash that attitude.
Yes.
The tide is changing real quick in the world.
That's right. That's right. Time is changing real quick in the world. That's why do you think fast food restaurants have gotten over the years? Because don't nobody want to cook anymore. I don't want to take time to buy no food and prepare it. A hamburger is the easiest thing to make. But them hamburger restaurants are jumping off the chain, right? Easiest thing to you mash out the patty, put it in the skillet, get your bread, your onions and your tomatoes and lettuce, and throw it on, and you got yourself a burger, right? But it's too easy to just go to a restaurant and buy a burger. That's why these fast food burger restaurants are just gone. They sell billions of burgers every year. Billions of them. Because people are that lazy. I can see if it was some dish that was extremely hard to make, you know, like pizza or something like that. But we talking about something as simple as a burger. People going to the fast food restaurant to get a burger. Man, the time you take to go to the restaurant and get a burger, you could have had it cooked in your skillet and done. People are just lazy. I'm telling you right now, people are just lazy.
But the only thing though is I'm getting it on my way home from work.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you right now, you all listen to me carefully. Okay? Don't mess around with this information that I'm giving you. Don't mess around with it. Okay? Plant yourself some seeds. Get yourself some seeds. Get with somebody that got some land. It can be just a backyard, just a little lot of land behind your house. Get somebody, work with them, plant this stuff, plant this food on their property, on yours, or wherever you can go. Get a vacant lot in the neighborhood. Plant some stuff. Put a fence around it if you have to. Plant some stuff. Go on and do this thing, because I'm telling you right now that it's going to be a sad thing when the food shortage hit. Yeah, it's going to be a sad thing. I want to show you this image here. Just look at this image. If I put it on here. Let me just check and see. Oh, I didn't put it on here. Let me grab this image. But this is a thing that I'm talking about. It's going to come down to this. And these food shortages, this thing is for real. You know, they're talking about these food shortages everywhere. And right now, it's a lot going on, you know. And so, we as a people, just look at that. Just look at that. I mean, there's hardly anything on those shelves right there. You know, and there's many images like that that's on the internet, articles that talk about food shortages in various areas, even right now to this day, food shortages. And what do you think's gonna happen when people find out that the government got them burning up crops and destroying their own crops? You know, just think about how bad things could get. You know what I mean? Nothing on those shelves, man. So, or very little, should I say, is on them. And so you got to know this is the norm. This is becoming a norm right now. You know, that there's not going to be stuff on the shelves. And it's just amazing the number of times that we've seen it happen. Man, let a snowstorm come. Shelves clear fast. When that coronavirus thing first started coming out and people was panicking, you go to the store, it was like, man. But we were already stocking up on things anyway. So it was kind of funny. I mentioned this before, that when that coronavirus thing first hit, And we went to the stores and went to one particular store, and this one lady said, "You all must have knew this was about to happen."
I've been seeing you for weeks.
Yeah. She said, "I've been seeing y'all for weeks coming here buying bulk stuff, buying bulk canned goods, buying bulk toilet paper and all kinds of other stuff." She said, "I've been seeing y'all for weeks do this. We've been doing this for years." I remember we came across somebody, this was about 5-6 years ago. A lady saw me packing all this stuff. I think I was by myself at this time. I went to the dollar store, and I was just packing up on a lot of stuff. She said, "What do you need with all of this stuff?" I said, "Well, the end of the world is coming, you know." And we just laughed about it, just played it off like that pretty much. But it's like, this stuff is going to happen, y'all. It's in the scriptures, right? So all I'm saying to you is that we need to just be prepared. But people that know us, they know we serious about this thing. And so you just got to understand how bad things can get. And you know what's sad? I know of people, I'm going to tell you something, our people. I know of some of our people right now that have acres and acres of land and ain't doing nothing with it. There's this one preacher I know of. This preacher got a nice house with more than an acre of land on it. He had a tractor and all the parts that go to the tractor. He sold all that stuff. I'm like, this is the time you should be using the stuff. You should be buying the stuff. He was selling all of this, getting out of it. Nah, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm like, man, why not? You know? Why? This is the time you should be doing it. Here you got people with acres of land, nothing growing on it. Nothing. Some folk got land and they're not doing anything. We're just sitting, just growing with weeds. But when the stuff hit the fan, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what's going to happen. People are going to be looking for places to grow food. You know, they're going to be looking for it. So what happens when they start making it so you can't buy seeds? Man, this government already is obvious they want to control things. So all I'm saying to you is that we got to be more serious about growing food. We got to be serious about storing up food and storing up canned goods and other things like that. We got to be serious about this thing. You trust me, you don't want to get caught like that. Even if just watch some movies. There are plenty of movies that that deal with the end of the world stuff and food shortages. Look at how these people act. It's going to get just like that. You saw what happened in Katrina. You know, when Katrina went down, people were lacking food. People were out there talking about, we need help. And was help coming? Nope. And so all we saying to you is that you don't want to be caught out like that. Out there with signs, protests, stuff. We need help. The government help us, feed us. Just like the one guy said, he was in his boat, right? And he said helicopter flew over him, right? And he was like, he needed some water, right? So they dropped the water down in the middle of his little canoe boat that he had. It almost sank his boat. I'm telling y'all right now. And he said something like, "Oh yeah, I bet that Negro won't ask for no water anymore, right?" All I'm saying to you is that you got to think about how things are right now, right? This thing is serious, right? So you got to do more, as much as you can. Oh yeah, somebody says stock up on medicines as well, different medicines and stuff. You may want to stock up on, just different things, different herbs and stuff. You may want to stock up on. Let me tell you something. A good example is Band-Aids, first aid kits, candles, right? Wood for burning, I mean, you might not have a fireplace, but hey, let me tell you something. If it get real cold and you can build yourself a fire outside, that may be the only way. And what if the power goes out? What if it ain't no gas? If you got wood, you can cook on wood, right? You get what I'm saying? It's a number of things that people can do. Now, you want to know something? Listen to this. In Detroit, back in the days, we always gathered wood whenever we could because we had a fireplace. And every chance we got, this was a little house we had in Detroit. Every chance we got, we had us some wood to put in that fireplace so that we can run the fireplace instead of the furnace. So all I'm saying is we got to be serious about this thing. We just got to be serious, you know. There are matches. Somebody says storing up on matches, and somebody's growing aloe vera and lavender now. Exactly. These are the things we need to be doing, right? Stocking up on stuff, stocking up on paper plates even. One thing we've done over the years, I'm going to show you something here. This here is a metal plate, okay? We started buying stainless steel plates and bowls and things like that. Things.
Tired of stuff getting broke.
Yeah, you get tired of stuff getting broke. We started buying because guess what? In the future, those things will be easy. What if you ain't got water to clean them? You can throw them in the fire. You know, and let the flames clean them, you know. But when you got some stainless steel plates, bowls, cups, we got stainless steel, some of everything, you know, when it come to eating and stuff. And so you want those things too. You got to think about all of that type of stuff, you know. You just got to think about it, you know, because you just never know how things could turn. Batteries, yeah, that's right. Store up on batteries. Let me tell you something, okay. Just for the sake of in case, even if a bad event happens, right? 9 times out of 10, a bad event can put you in a bad situation for at least a week to 2 weeks. I believe that you should have at least 1 month of surplus set aside in canned goods, food, matches, candles, and other things. You need to have at least a month's worth of stuff set aside for yourself and you and your family, just in case something happened, because it could take a week, it could take 2 weeks before they get things back online, it could take a month. Y'all forbid if it takes years, or if we just go right on down into the tribulation. Man, can you imagine that now? So this is why me and my wife, we always talking to you about gardening and just giving this thing a try, you know. And I thank y'all for my wife, because when I was growing up, I was the gardener. I was really heavy into gardening when I was coming up, you know. We lived on Robeson in Detroit. We loved the gardening aspect. And then when we moved, when me and my wife got married, we had started our first garden together. And it did well, didn't it, baby? We had all kinds of stuff growing. It was pretty neat, you know. It was like, wow, but that land in Belleville was incredible. That dirt was incredible. You could grow anything in that dirt. You know, and so the bottom line is we've always been talking about this thing, trying to do this thing for years. This is the way to go. This is definitely the way to go, you know. And believe it or not, here's another thing too. Watch this, right? I'm going to tell you something. If you got a regular home, city lot in Detroit or whatever city that you're in, you got just a decent sized home with a nice little lot on it, you can raise chickens. Chickens are so easy to raise until it's incredible. Build yourself a nice sized chicken coop. Get yourself a couple of bales of straw, right? Get some chicken feed, right? And I'm telling you, them chickens will be producing eggs for you. Man, you mess around and get like 10 chickens, you'll be having eggs every day, every week. You'll be getting 30 eggs or so or more, you know, from your chicken. You got 10 chickens, you're going to be getting a lot of eggs every week, you know? There are times right now we got quite a few chickens, so we be collecting so many eggs. We haven't brought eggs from the grocery store in a while now, you know, because we get that many eggs from our chickens. And so all I'm saying to you is that these things you got to think of, you know. I've seen people in the city having chickens. We did it when we were living in a small town. You know, we had chickens in our backyard, you know. And so these are a number of things that you could do to try to combat this food shortage that's coming. And I'm telling you right now, it's coming, y'all. It's coming, and when it hits, you want to be ready. You don't want to be one of those that say, "Oh man, I know James over there got some stuff going. Let me go over there." Everybody gonna be thinking about going to James, but James may wise up. You may go knock on James, though. He may show up at the door with a piece on the side. You know what I'm saying? He may be like, what's going on? Oh yeah, we you know, we going through some hard times right now. We need some food and everything. James may be like, well, you know what? I got a wife and kids, you know. I can give you a little something, but I don't have much for you right now. You know, here's some seeds. Go plant some seeds. James may be one of them people that's like that. James may be to the point where he may be saying, look, I got to look out for me and my family. You know what I'm saying? So what you going to do then? And what if everybody want to come knock on James' door? Right? James can't feed the whole neighborhood. Wow. Are you getting what I'm talking about? And so this is how things got to be. You got to get to the point where you get out of this man, I don't want to, should I call it a slave mentality? You know? What do you call it? You know, this mentality where you just want to sit back and don't you want them to feed you. Feed me. I'm telling you right now, we got to end this thing. We got to end it. We got to do all that we can to, you said eat air. Exactly. And I'm telling you right now, we need to do everything that we could do to try to make this thing work. And believe it or not, it's amazing. I'm finding out people are raising tilapia in swimming pools. They get these small swimming pools and they raising tilapia in them. I'm like, are you serious? And those of you that live down south, you can do that. You can get a little small kiddie swimming pool that may only cost you a couple of $100, and you could be raising tilapia in that thing, And so it's just a number of things to think about, a number of things. And guess what? Watch this here, right? So let's say you live in the city of Detroit or another small city, and you got a small quarter of an acre parcel that your house is on, which isn't much. So you got a small backyard. Your backyard is only something like maybe your backyard is like 20 by 20 or something like that. Believe it or not, you can grow a lot on that backyard. Do you not know that you can plant several fruit trees in that area, in that spot? I'll never forget when someone gave us a gift. It was a fruit tree. We call it the Susie tree. But my sister-in-law gave us this tree when we were living in Belleville. It was a pear tree. We planted that pear tree, and I looked at the pear tree. It's a little small pear tree, only so high, probably only about 6 feet tall or so. And we planted that tree, and I said, man, we're going to be years before we get some pears on that tree. Let me tell you, how long did it take before we got the first pears? I think she's asleep. But I think it was only about maybe 3 years after we planted that tree that we were getting pears. And when I say pears, I'm not talking about 4 or 5, 8 or 9. The first year that tree bare pears, it must have bared some 100 or more pears on it. And I was like, wow, I was shocked that after 2-3 years, we were collecting that many pears, right? So all I'm trying to tell you is that these are some of the things that you could do. Now, what if you planted a pear tree, a peach tree, an apple tree, or 2 or 3 of all of them? That's food that'll get you through the summer, get you through the spring. That's enough that'll get you through the part of the winter, especially if you're canning them, you jarring them, right? So, in other words, I'm saying this is a lot of different things that you could think about, right? And it's nice growing up with fruit trees on the land. I'll tell you, when we were growing up in Detroit, we had neighbors that had fruit trees. And it was amazing how many neighbors that we had that had fruit trees. Miss Reed had a pear tree. Friend, 2 doors down from me, they had a plum tree. Somebody 4 doors down from me had a plum tree. My friend that lived down the street, he had an apple tree next door to him. They had cherries growing. It was like, wow, everybody had fruit trees in their backyard, Another friend of mine, he had 3 pear trees in his backyard. And guess what they would do every year? Let the fruit fall to the ground and just die. And they're like, yeah, well, if the fruit don't look all clean like the grocery store fruit, they ain't got no blemishes on it, it's all look like perfect fruit, then look, cut that stuff off of that fruit and make yourself some pear preserves. But that's what they were doing, is let that fruit fall to the ground and just die. And just like we knew of someone that lived in California, and they said a lot of times they would have grapefruits and oranges growing on their own property, and they said they wouldn't do nothing with them. I said, oh my goodness. Wow. I'm telling you right now, you better think about this stuff. Think about what we're talking about. And quit allowing food to just fall to the ground and go to waste. And another thing, too, I want to bring up for you real quickly here. Believe it or not, a lot of people are going to starve with food right there in front of their face that they don't recognize. I'm talking about what we refer to as weeds. Okay? If you do your research, many of the items that you have growing in your yard, wild, that you always cut down and you're trying to get rid of, are edible. Believe me, they are edible. You should look it up. And a lot of people are actually going to be dying with food right there in front of them. They're not even going to recognize these weeds as being food. Okay? And when we started identifying these weeds, I was like, you got to be kidding. I've been seeing these weeds all my life. One of them I've been seeing for a long time has been lamb quarters. These lamb quarters, I've seen these things, and when I was a kid, they'd be growing in the alley, and I just looked at them, they was just big weeds. I had no idea the lamb quarters were like greens. And when my kids found that out, my wife and them found that out, and they were like, man, these are greens, and my kids, they love them. I was like shocked. I said, you got to be kidding me that all these years this was edible. And then like plantain and there were other things like wild lettuce, and someone pointed out like the dandelion, right? There's a lot of things like that. People are going to be walking around starving, and this food is going to be right in their face, right in their face. I didn't know you had stepped out. I called and I thought you had fell asleep. I was talking about the Susie tree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how fast we grew pears on that tree. But it's just amazing how things is going to get that people are going to be expiring, going to be food. They're going to be fall dead right there, laying on some dandelion that they could have just eaten. People are just are ignorant of these things. And so all I'm telling you is that become wise, know what's edible out there, know how to save food, know how to grow food, know how to plant food, know how to do all these different things, right? Know how to raise a couple of chickens. All of these things are more simple than I had no idea. Let me tell you something. Had I known it was this easy to raise some chickens, we would have been doing this back in Belleville before we even moved down south. We would have been doing this thing. We would have been doing this if I had known. You understand me? If I had just known, And so, me and my wife, we're so thankful that y'all has revealed some things to us and about this, and that we're really pushing strong on this thing, about getting the greenhouse started and doing all these kind of things. And those of you that have a little land, and fine, do your thing with that land. Don't let that land just sit. Do your thing. But I'm going to tell you, right? I got to be honest, right? Farming life is very hard. It's very hard, and it's going to require time. And some of you, when you get off work, there was one brother, I don't know what video what channel it is you be watching sometimes, but the one brother who work a job, and he gets off his job, and he goes home, he does his gardening and stuff.
I watch so many.
There's so many of them, yeah, but this one brother, I saw him, I think he worked for the post office, is it? Or somewhere like that. I forgot the brother's, his channel. But anyway, I'm going to tell you something. I was like, man, this brother getting out where his setup was so nice. I said, man, the way he handling his business, growing in raised beds and things like that. And so it's very important that we realize that, okay, yeah, so what, you work 8 hours, okay? You can still do it, right? I know you're tired when you get off work. You can still do it. You can still put that time in, right? You can still put it in, right? So think about that, right? But anyway, I've been on there longer than I had actually wanted to be. I know sometimes I get a little long-winded, especially when we talk about this kind of thing. But I want you all to realize how serious this is, And I say food shortages coming 2001 and beyond. I'm telling you right now, it's already here in some areas of the United States. It's already here. All you gotta do is go check out the articles. Just type up food shortage and Google it. And just look at in the news and see the different places that are going through a food shortage right now. I tell you, it's something. It's really something else. And so I just want you all to get that thing down in your mind, what's going on, and understand it. That we have this food shortage going on, and that we got to prepare, we got to be ready, and also, and just like we talking about the garden thing, stock up on canned goods. I see somebody here talking about tuna. You know, hey, stock up on all kinds of canned goods. Tuna is one thing that I'm trying to get away from. Although I will probably have some put away in case of an emergency. But I've been doing some research on the tuna, and a lot of the food, a lot of the fish that are swimming out in the Pacific Ocean are greatly polluted. But certain fish that's in the Atlantic Ocean may be a little better than fish that are in the Pacific Ocean. And so, like whiting is an Atlantic Ocean fish. It seems to be a little more cleaner than the tuna and the other animals that are, you know, you got the radiation that leaked down to the water in the Pacific, and there's a lot of plastic out there in the Pacific, and it's just a lot that's going on that end of the world in the ocean. And so, you know, just be careful. Stock up on canned goods and different things that you can eat out of the can. Just let those things be for emergency purposes, though. You know, emergency purposes, because, you know, a lot of those foods are high in sodium, and they got a lot of things to preserve it. And so you don't want those to be the things that you mainly eat. You want that to be an emergency thing. In other words, when it's an emergency, you ain't gonna care about that food having a preservative in it, right? Because it's gonna get to that point, you know. So we're gonna talk about this again. We're gonna talk about some of these last day things, because there's other issues I want to talk about, bartering and how things are gonna get in those last days. And that's a good topic there, because I'm telling you, it's gonna come down to that too. Hallelujah. But anyway, I hope this one is a wake-up call to you, and I hope it makes you all say, okay, let's not wait until there's nothing on the shelves before we start to plant something, because then you're gonna have to wait at least a month for something to come up out of that ground that you can eat from. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to at least wait some time, right? So, you know, you gotta get going on this thing early on. Hallelujah. Well, we love you, family. I pray that the Most High keep you and continue to cause you to do what you need to do to be ready. Hallelujah. On that note, family, I'm going to say shalom.